A lot of people talk about work-life balance. I think it assumes that if you just got everything in the right proportions, you could jam everything in. And at least what I've found for myself is that I don't have time for everything, but I have time for all the things that are the most important to me. I'm Gretchen Rubin, a writer and podcaster who studies happiness, good habits, and human nature. I started my career in law, and I was actually clerking for Supreme Court Justice Sandra Day O'Connor when I realized that I wanted to be a writer. I thought, I would rather fail as a writer than succeed as a lawyer, and so I really owed it to myself to try to give it a go. My typical day hits a lot of the same things, but in different orders, which kind of drives me crazy because I'm somebody who would love to have the life of a Benedictine monk where everything unfolded in exactly the same way every day, but alas, I cannot pull that off. So every day is pretty much the same, but in different orders and in different concentrations. I do better in spaces that are pretty calm, where there's not a lot of visual stimulation. That makes me feel more energetic and creative. One thing that I did that was a huge benefit was I now have 3 monitors. And I remember thinking, 3 monitors is going to make me feel overwhelmed. But then I read a study saying that information workers had big boosts in effectiveness if they got 2 monitors. So I got a second monitor, and then the next day I got a third monitor. I love the effectiveness of having 3 monitors. If I'm doing original writing, I might have my document up. I might be in WordPress, posting something to my site. One might be on TweetDeck. I don't feel overwhelmed. I feel like I'm doing my work much faster. Another thing that I got is a headset. Now these are pretty common. When I got it, I felt like the biggest loser. But having the ability to be hands-free is a huge thing. If I have an idea, I will often email it to myself. It might be something like saturation. I would just email it to myself, something like, remember that thought you had about saturation. So I have many documents, most of which are hundreds of pages long. They're not very subdivided, and I will use search to find what I'm looking for. One of the things about me is I will often become obsessed with something. I spend hours and hours every week just taking notes, copying out passages verbatim, or writing my reactions to something. These are just part of what makes it fun to do my work. I used to resist that impulse, but now I really allow myself to do it because I think I never know where something's gonna lead. Every day, I will think to myself, quitting time. I never know when that's gonna be. I sort of decide in my own head, now is quitting time. Because I am somebody who might work all the time, and I don't wanna have a life where I'm working all the time.